SmackDown was originally supposed to take place in Detroit, Michigan tonight before the show got canceled, and that really sucks for people who had tickets to the show, including myself. I was going to go to SmackDown tonight in Detroit at the Little Caesars Arena before the show was canceled, and it really sucks. I'm going to get my money back. I don't think that'll be an issue, but yeah, I was kind of looking forward to seeing the show tonight. I'm pretty disappointed I had to stay home and watch an empty arena show. But it is what it is. The coronavirus is a national emergency, as it's been declared by the president today, so what are you going to do? They had the show live at the Performance Center. This is the same location they had NXT 2 nights ago, and I think Raw is official. I'm not sure, but I think it's almost guaranteed it's going to be in the Performance Center on Monday. So you have Triple H on commentary with Michael Cole. You have Bayley and Sasha Banks make their way to the ring. They basically just point at the crowd that no one's there. They mock the announcers. They point out to Triple H that Paige is nowhere to be found, and she had travel issues. I don't know what I'm going to do with Paige now, but Triple H and Bayley and Sasha start making fun of Michael Cole, which was funny. Eventually, they're interrupted by Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, who come out, and Alexa Bliss points out how they challenged the Kabuki Warriors for the titles but got some strange Twitter message. Bliss and Cross then challenged Bayley and Banks to a match instead, and they agree to it. So we officially have Sasha and Bayley against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. I don't know if this was going to be on the Detroit show. Probably not. This was probably just thrown to the last minute. But maybe it was, because it's a weird match just to do out of nowhere. But that would have been cool seeing Sasha and Alexa renew their rivalry live. I could have saw that, but it didn't work out. Anyway, it was really fun because there's just no fans there. It's really entertaining. It's fun to watch, but it... Okay, I have to get to this before I talk about the match. There was a massive problem in which the woman in this match stopped working. So there was a commercial break, as there always is, and I did not catch it, but there was people who had other feeds I saw on Twitter, was they stopped wrestling for about 3 minutes, and then eventually had to get themselves back into position. Bayley and Sasha and Alexa and Nikki, they messed up. They decided to stop wrestling during the commercial break, and they had to get themselves back into position. That's pretty embarrassing, but the atmosphere was really strange. The faces start off first. They had Nikki Cross do the crossbody. And then when we get back to the breaks, the heels take control and they isolate Alexa Bliss. And that's where Bayley and Sasha dominate Alexa for a while. Sasha takes it to her in particular. She gains control and dominates the match on Alexa. She dominates her, puts her in various holds, has a cool hot spot where she likes bending Alexa Bliss's arms back really far back. And it was strange. And I know Alexa's flexible, but man, it must have hurt. I don't know if there's still heat between Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss. I always wonder. I always wish we could have seen a major rivalry with them. We never really got it. We got a few matches. They've had a lot of matches, a whole bunch actually, but never got to see a true heat blood rivalry. I always thought that it was there, but I don't think they hate each other that much anymore. I think that probably that time has peaked because I've seen them post stuff on social media with one another in the room. So maybe it's not as big a deal as it used to be, but it was a big thing for a while. I always used to talk about it on my show a few years ago when they were back on Raw. I really wanted to see that feud, but it didn't work out. Anyway, Sasha controls the match. Bayley and her tag in. Bayley takes it to Bliss. She dominates her for a while. We're waiting for Nikki Cross to get the hot tag, but the fans don't care. Nikki even tries to get the fans into it, but there's no fans. I mean, I said they don't care, but there's no fans. It was pretty funny, actually. Triple H was entertaining on commentary. So Nikki Cross starts to run wild. She rolls up Sasha. Hits a crossbody. What happens is, however, during this, is Alexa Bliss is on the outside. And because Alexa Bliss is on the outside, the referee has his back turned. He does not see Asuka. Now, there's no crowd noise. How could you not hear Asuka? But Asuka throws Alexa into the steps or something, and it throws off Alexa. So Alexa's out. I guess that sets up the tag match. It's official for WrestleMania, basically. Maybe on the pre-show, but it's pretty awesome to get the Kabuki Warriors against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Maybe even do Bayley Sasha in that match, because I don't know what they're going to do. Because they could do a Fatal 4 match with Lacey and Carl, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to do a singles match, or maybe they just don't have a title match. Who knows if WrestleMania is going to happen at this point. Anyway, Alexa gets taken out by Asuka. Sasha hits the bank statement on Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross taps out, so Bayley and Sasha with the win, and we'll see what happens with Alexa and Nikki. I guess they challenge for the titles. Maybe they do something with Sasha Bayley for the belts too. They could do that. I don't have a big problem with that, but I don't think they have enough time to build a Bayley Sasha title match. But I'm afraid they're just going to do Bayley Sasha against Naomi, Lacey, a Fatal 4 match. Carmella may be involved too. Maybe Nia Jax comes back. I'm not sure. But that's where I'm afraid we're going to go. We're not going to get that singles match. It's too late to build up to that now. But who knows what's going to happen. So next we go to the next thing, which is the Roman Reigns promo. We had Michael Cole interview Roman Reigns in the ring, and Roman talks about how people say he doesn't deserve the match. He says, well, I've main evented TV or house shows for all this time, but that doesn't have anything to do with storyline. The house shows are not a part of storylines. Technically, in WWE sense, the house shows are obviously there, but they don't have nothing to do with the storyline. It goes week to week in actual storylines. So the full stuff about the house shows is ridiculous. I made event house shows. It's kind of breaking the fourth wall. He even takes a dig at Goldberg that he went to Georgia. I guess Reigns went to Georgia Tech. They can play that up like anyone cares. Anyone from outside the state of Georgia. They're in Florida. It's close to it. But if they were in Atlanta this year, maybe you can do it. But they're in fucking Tampa Bay. Why does anyone care about the fucking Georgia and Georgia Tech rivalry? But one thing I would say is, they're probably not going to have the show anyway, so maybe it doesn't matter. So Reigns says he's not a part-timer. And he promises to beat Goldberg at Mania, which he'll beat Goldberg, but I don't know if that's going to happen. In the back, we got Kayla Braxton, so we get to see her. She interviews Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura, and the new Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn. Sami's really annoying here. He's unbearable. Sami's just, he's such a bad heel. I like looking at Kayla, but, she eventually moves on, and she brought in her real guest, which is Jeff Hardy. King Corbin interrupts and he mocks him. I think he tried to say something about his DUI problems. He tries to challenge. Hardy gets in Corbin's face and reveals that he has a match against him tonight. And Hardy left and Corbin's upset. And they show Elias backstage mocking him. So it was okay. Triple H left commentary, but he returns later. They recap Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak after the Elimination Chamber. They show backstage, and Daniel Bryan goes in front of Drew Gulak. He offers a handshake and says he wants him to teach him, and they want to be a team. Then Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Nakamura mock them, and Bryan challenges Cesaro for a match later tonight. So I guess what they're doing is they can set up Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak as a team that sets up some fatal four-way match at WrestleMania, or that happens again. So they go to the Elimination Chamber at SmackDown Tag Titles. They should replay the match. It's Miz and Morrison against New Day, Heavy Machinery, Usos, Lucha House Party, and Rude and Ziggler. I like the match a lot less now than when I first watched it on Sunday, but they replayed it. Then once we get back, we have Daniel Bryan against Cesaro. So Bryan and Cesaro, he had, I guess, more set up for the match at WrestleMania, whatever they're going to do. It was okay. Daniel Bryan hit the suicide dive onto Nakamura, and Triple H was on commentary. He was pretty entertaining. Daniel Bryan won the match with an inside cradle. Then the suicide dive spot happened, and Triple H is annoying Michael Cole, and I think he makes fun of him with the camera. And Cole even mentions his career started with the DX mocking him. I also want to mention, I forgot to say, it's such a scary thing with the coronavirus. It's perfect. It landed on Friday the 13th. So happy Friday the 13th, everybody. And if you like the Jason movies, if you like any of those horror films, make sure to check out my horror movie reviews. I've reviewed every single Friday the 13th movie. It's on this channel. Just type in Friday the 13th. You can watch all the reviews of every single Jason movie. I've reviewed them all. Watch them if you want, but check out my reviews. I have to plug that. You can watch them. Anyway, Jeff Hardy against King Corbin. Hardy wins, no one cares. So we get to the main event, which is the John Cena promo. Michael Cole interviews him in the ring, and Cena was very good here. So they know that Cena beat Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. Cena says Wyatt became lazy after his loss at WrestleMania, which is true. I think that's fair. In real life, he says he suffered many losses, and he runs down some of his more devastating losses. He talks about losing at WrestleMania to The Miz, losing to CM Punk later that year, losing to The Rock the next year at WrestleMania, being destroyed by Brock Lesnar. Remember that one? He talks about being destroyed by The Undertaker, so he's had some losses. And Cole asks why Cena accepted the challenge. He says Wyatt had so many chances already. Cena accepted the challenge because he's going to get rid of Wyatt. He says he was overrated his whole career. and he's a waste. But then Bray Wyatt interrupts him and made his way to the ring. He says he's going to come out as the Fiend, but just regular Bray Wyatt. He's just the Firefly Funhouse Bray. He mocks Cena, says he wonders what it'd be like, and Wyatt says he thinks they would have lost to Cena 6 years ago all the time. Well, I think of it too, because it ruined his fucking career. If he had beaten Cena, it would have been huge for Wyatt. Anyway, he notes Cena doesn't care about his future. He only cares about himself being in the spotlight and his Hollywood career, stuff like that. And he says he hears voices in his head since the loss, but once the Funhouse happened, the voices went away, and he asked Cena to let him in, and then you hear the Fiend laugh, and it flashes across the screen, and that's how it ended. And that was SmackDown. So it was a very different type of show tonight. It was an interesting show. Having no fans in the attendance hurt the show, but at other times it helped. And also the Miz and Morrison, I forgot to mention that. Their segment was pretty entertaining too. And they did announce that Rob Gronkowski is going to be on SmackDown next week. They had the stuff at Mojo Rawley, so we'll see what's going to happen. And there's a Roman Reigns Goldberg contract signing, so there's a lot going on. Next week, if they have it, they probably won't. They'll probably just be in a Performance Center again, going the way the rate this thing's going and everything getting canceled. But that was SmackDown. It was a fun show. I thought it was entertaining for what it was. They did the best they could, so I was no problem with it. Other coronavirus news, I wish everyone well. Just load up on whatever you have to. Load up on toilet paper, load up on bottled water. I'm a bit worried if the tap water gets infected. I mean, who's having a shower? That's going to be another disaster, especially with the germs. But load up on that. Just load up on basic necessities that you need. Hopefully this thing passes. Hopefully it doesn't destroy our economy and we survive the coronavirus.